This is the story of Roselle and Janetta Merriweather. This is the story of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. This is their story. This is your story. This is our story.
Tommy Lee Merriweather, born in January the 8th, 1954.
My name is Mary Helen Taylor.
My name is Bernice Merriweather. I was born in Jackson, Tennessee, in Madison County.
I was born on November the 14th, 1947.
My name is Albert Lewis Merriweather, and I was born August 20, 1962.
It's 11 in the family, 7 sisters, and it's four boys.
My parents were Roselle and Janetta Merriweather.
Roselle and Janetta Merriweather.
My parents are Mr. and Mrs. Roselle and Jennietta Merriweather.
My family name means to me trust God and work ethic.
I'm Fanny Merriweather. She was 87 years old when she died, born in 1893. That's Roselle Merriweather. He was born 1918. He died 1905. That's John Merriweather up there. He was born 1923. He died in 207, 205, 207. That's Calvin Merriweather there. He's born 1926.
Ada Ara Merriweather. I was born October 25th, 1931.
Well, there was 11 of us with me. I was the baby of the family. So I got to get away with a lot more.
Oh, my childhood memories is us growing up together, my sisters and my brothers, the playtime that we had, the sitting around the table at holidays and talking. Even in the afternoon, we would come in and we would all have dinner together and we would sit around and talk. Of course, a lot of times Daddy wasn't there because my father was always working. He would always try to provide stuff for us and food for us and clothing and everything that we needed. So Mom would make sure that we have a a good hot meal, and we would sit around in eating time around the fireplace or the fire stove, may I say, and talk about what happened through the day and what things that we was encountered through the day while we was at school. And so it was a great a great time growing up.
On the weekend, we would all get together and swing on grapevines and just have a have a good time. A little different today than what it was back then, but it was all still good. You growed up, you know, you knowed how to work. You picked okra, you picked squash, peas, whatever it was that that you had to do.
Childhood memory with a family of 11, um, being together, and Sunday dinners.
So at nighttime, we would be outside playing. We used to like to play hide and go seek. One would get behind it. We used to have a big tree in our front yard. We used to get behind the tree, and Albert, me and Lane and Tane, we would count to 10, and we would run and hide. Sometimes we would hide up under the house. Believe it or not, our house was so high off the foundation that we could actually crawl up under our house to hide.
I remember we used to live up here about a half a mile up here where we were born at. That's for everybody. We had a house there, and I guess kind of growing up, I guess the biggest thing I remember about, we had that great big tree out in front, and that's where the whole community used to a lot of time would meet around that tree. We had a basketball goal right next to it, and so that was kind of the fun memories of growing up. That would be one place we would meet at around that tree, or either right there at the basketball goal. And it's got a lot of community came together, even cousins and everybody. It'll be one place we would all kind of meet at.
As a child, again, that's grown up in a family of 11, a lot of love, a lot of caring, a lot of sharing, and we trust God.
I guess we enjoy running up and down in the woods. We were born on a farm. We like to run in the woods and swing on the grapevines and things like that.
Life was really good. When you're young, you really think that your parents are just so horrible, and you see other people, other children your age going and doing places. But we always had a good home. Mom and Dad was always visible. That Dad had to work, but Mama was always visible. But they would always encourage us to do our best and do what we know was right, and they wouldn't always tell us to, to you know what you are. You're a Merriweather, so you got to straighten up and do right.
Everybody was close. We all was born up there, up the road, except Albert. And it was 2 bedrooms. And then they added another room on, but it was, all the boys slept in the same room, and the girls slept in the same room. So, and one thing I do say back then, when Mama fixed dinner, everybody went to the table. Janata had 11 children, and when Dog comes, she know who all her children were. It's just something other that I wasn't raised to go to this house, that house, and stay all night. You stayed at home, and that was brought up in me. You go over to Grandma's house, but when Dog comes, Grandma would tell you, it's getting dark. It's time to go home.
When I went to high school, I had to walk about half a mile to catch the bus every morning. And sometime in the wintertime it would be rough because it'd be ice and snow and everything. But we went on anyway. And we didn't live too far from the school, but if we missed the bus, we would walk on to school.
Yeah. What was a day like when you was growing up? What did you do for fun when you were growing up?
I knew. Chop cotton.
What was the first thing?
Chop cotton.
Chop cotton?
Mm-hmm. We ate cotton and corn.
That was fun?
Yeah, I guess it's more fun than not.
Well, we didn't have a lot of money. But what we had, when we got some, you knew how to save. And back in the day, you didn't have no toys every day, no this, no that. They didn't have money to pay for all of that. So we got a toy too at Christmas. But basically, we got pajamas and underwear and stuff because it was something we would need all year long. And we had one pair of shoes for school, a pair for church. And I remember my mom, she had 2 dresses for church, a black and a white one. And that material was that like rayon and stuff, whatever it was. And she would wash that dress, and it got to the point where that black had turned red. I couldn't realize they would sew their underclothes. That's the same way about Tommy Lee mama too. They would sew their underclothes up. But you never did realize what it was all about. It was because we didn't have money and stuff. And they were trying to make sure we had things to wear to school and stuff. You know what I mean?
We didn't have a movie. We couldn't go to the movie. Well, up here where Cousin Johnny Abbott's house, that was our school. And somebody would come out every so often, like every month or something, and had this movie projector. And everybody around would go there on Saturday night.
And I promised myself if I ever got grown, I'm going to buy this woman some clothes. But then once you get older, you realize the sacrifices they really made for you. And we used to have Kisbers. It was the most expensive store. And they would have a ladies' day sale twice a year. And so on them days, I would go and I would get Tommy mama and my mama some underwear. The gowns, the robes, and bras, panties, slips, and all. And they would, set them back. And I would come and I would say, what are you doing? This is for you to wear. Throw this stuff. And they would say, no, you can't wear everything. You have to, keep it. I said, no, nobody's going to wear this but you. And you're going to, And they could, they got to the point where they finally would use it, some of it. And, they always, I guess, and I say, I'm going to buy this, man, because Tommy will tell you, I would spend his money on his mom and my mom.
Well, we didn't have McDonald's and all that. So, everything that we ate, we grew. Everything. We didn't have to go to the store to get nothing but meal and sugar.
What did we do for fun? Wow, what a question.
What did we do for fun? Well, we would get up in the morning time and we would do our chores. And after we done our chores, we would come outside and play. We would make something called mud cake. Most people don't know what mud cake is. We went out and dug up the dirt and put water with it and make a cake, and then we would put it in little tops and set it out in the sun and let it bake. And so it would take about a day or so to bake. Then we would color it, and then we'll call it cooking. We didn't have to lock our doors. Everybody was like a native.
I was 12 years old while I went to town. My granddad was a slave. You should know about a slave. You never tell of a slave.
I heard it, yes.
A slave was when the white folk touched the neighborhood. Everybody was a slave right there. And my granddad lived at his house. And then Britt Lane's out there right down the road down there. He said the first gunshot down there. He said, George, by the run, the Yankees coming. You wonder what the Yankees were? No.
From the north?
No, against the south. And he heard the first gunshot down there. He said, George, by the run, Yankees coming. So after that, after everything passed over, Monster died, he got this house there. And you all can see this house there. I ain't gonna nobody got a picture. The house was 2.5 stories high. Had 3 props on the side. Like they said, yeah, to hold it out.
Really?
Slave house. Had wooden pegs to hold it through.
Wooden pegs to hold the house up?
No, since it had 2 before, had 4 before. He said the first gunshot down there. He said, George, by the run, the Yankees coming. You wonder what the Yankees were? No.
From the north?
No, against the south. And he heard the first gunshot down there. He said, George, by the run, Yankees coming. So after that, after everything passed over, Monster died, he got this house there. Y'all can see this house there. I ain't gonna nobody got a picture. The house was 2.5 stories high. Had 3 properties on the side. Like they said, yeah, to hold it out.
Really?
Old slave house. Had
Old slave
wooden
house.
pegs to hold it through.
Wooden pegs to hold the house up?
No, I had, since then I had 2x4s, had 4x4s.
4x4.
Yeah, the whole pegs through that. Slave house, they built them back then. They don't build them all kinds no more. Anyway, after he died, he said the white gunshot. Oh, died in the river named Battlefield. He said, George, you better run, the Yankees coming. And they, after it's over, he got this house right here on this hill right here. And he owned 300 acres of land.
300 acres.
Well, you can see that way is his land. Well, you can see that way. He owned 300 acres of land. That we asked that one over him. He said, you say, I'm sick or nothing. Now, she was sick or nothing in my state, but I know none of my folks being sick.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked to school. I went to Berlin School out in halfway. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to high school.
You didn't go to high school?
No. But one thing I did learn in elementary school, I went to Berlin down here as a kid down there. And my mama waited for a white woman down there one time. And we had cats meeting bread, meeting and age time. I went to school that day. I late getting to school, and I didn't want to carry my lunch in school. I went out down on the house and took it on the porch out there, on the door, on the block out there. Well, down the time come here, everybody else eating lunch. I went to get my lunch, and the dog then got my lunch. Yeah, dog then got my lunch. But anyhow, I stayed down there until I got in the 2nd grade. Oh, first grade, 2nd grade. I moved up here. I went to White House School up here. I was in the second grade, and a lady called the field over there. There was 6 of us going to the old school up there, what John Merriweathers did. You know what John Merriweathers did?
Yes.
There was 6 of us going to the old school. Well, not, we wasn't at the house, it was school up there. There's 6 of us going to school up there. And we had a old woman with that night right there.
I had one chore in particular, and that was to get the wood in to make the firewood in the morning, because that's what we used, a wood heater. So only one time, and Daddy made me get up by 4 o'clock and go find something to make a firewood, and that was tough because the frost had failed, and it's hard to get a fire started, and you wasn't sharp enough to stay up all night keep some wood in the heater, so you had to make a fire. But after that one time that I had to get up and find something to make a fire with, from then on, regardless of whatever time I got home, I would get some kindling in to start this fire with the next morning, because I know that was my job.
Some of my chores was picking up kindling, and kindling is wood that has been chopped, and you have pieces of the wood that was left over. So we would have to pick up kindling to start a fire. Tom Lee would be the one who would be responsible for making the fire in the morning time when we got up. So we had to pick up little pieces of wood so we could ignite the fire, so the fire could get something to start with.
Childhood chores. There were plenty. We got up every morning, whether you feel like it or not. We were raised on a farm, so that meant that we chopped cotton, we picked cotton, we picked peas, we did the strawberries and everything on the farm.
Well, we had to milk the cows, we had to feed the pigs, and we had to gather up. Sometimes we had to go to the garden and gather up food to eat. And we had to, when I got a little old, we had plowed in the field. We pulled corn and hauled hay, picked strawberries.
Well, one of my chores was when me and Lane was small, Daddy bought some pet rabbits. And we had to feed them rabbits. We started out, we were liking that thing at first. We want to feed them, I want to feed them. And then we kept them a while. No, I fed them yesterday. It ain't my day. So that was one of our chores to feed rabbits. Also, we fed hogs and stuff like that too. But I guess what I really remember most about it was those pet rabbits what we used to feed. But hogs also too, one that we fed.
You know, and I even tell them that we had some cows back then. They would turn the cows out in the morning time, and your job was to go get them in the evening. And it wasn't no such thing as I couldn't find them. You know, this was your chore to go get them cows wherever they was. You knowed about where they was, and you had to bring them back. So you know, you just well, you just done what they told you to do. Point blank. Period. Wasn't no option. You just done what they told you to do. I mean, period. Yeah.
We had to also go and feed the chickens. We had chickens, we had cows, we had pigs, and all those things we had to make sure that they were done before we went to bed. And I can remember one night that we got to playing around there, and we didn't go and feed the pigs at night. And we had a thing in the house they called a slop bucket. Well, a slop bucket consists of all the leftover food, which was very little at sometimes. All the leftover food that we had, we would put it in a bucket, and we would put it by the door. And when it got full, or at the end of the day, we would take it, scraps that we had from eating, we would take it and give it to the hogs, to the pigs. So I know one particular, we didn't feed the hogs, and Daddy came in one night. I know it had to be about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, because we was in the bed sound asleep by then. And he came through the kitchen and saw that slop in that bucket. He came in the house. We were laying up in the bed, and in that time it was really, really cold. And he came in the house, and he told us to get up. And we said, "What is it, Daddy? Y'all didn't feed those hogs." So what he did, he snatched the cover off of us and gave us all a flashlight. Gave us all a flashlight, and we had to go and feed the cows, feed the hogs at night. And I just said, man, but when Daddy told you to do something, you better believe you better have done it. And it was cold at night. We put on some old shoes and went up, but he gave us a flashlight, and we went and got that chore done. But I guarantee you, we'd never let that happen again. Before we went to bed at night, or before it got dark, we would make sure that the animals was fed, because Daddy did not play. When he had told you to do something, it had to be done. If not, then you would suffer the consequences.
Even in growing up, we spoke about that. If whatever Mama cooked, that's what you ate. It wasn't no such thing as I didn't like this or nothing else. Whatever was there, that's what you ate. Regardless of whatever it was. But out of all the ordeals, I don't remember no day that none of us went hungry. You had something to eat. May not have been exactly what you wanted, but it was something other there. You know. Well, Mama would be the one that whoop you. Daddy wouldn't hardly whoop you. I got one good whooping by Daddy one time, and that was on the 4th of July. And he wanted us to fix the fence, and I said I wasn't gonna fix no so and so fence, and Mama heard me. So it was a tree in the front yard up there, and that's where he put me at in the front yard. That made me get up in the truck in the front seat with him, and went over there and fixed that fence. And it just been a few years ago that fence was probably had just completely gone down, but I remember to this day exactly where the fence was that we fixed that 4th of July. But you just well, you just done what they told you to do. Point blank. Period.
Well, I never did really get too much distance, but one time I did. I had done, you guess, kind of smelling myself a little bit, and my daddy used to work a lot in the construction business. He used to work a lot in like Memphis, which was like an hour or so away, and a couple months around in town. And he'd leave like early in the morning, go to work, and then most times be kind of late in the evening time to get in. And I don't know that particular day I was doing something, and Mama used to kind of hit me a few times, and I kind of break away once she give me a good lick, and I break away and be like I'm hollering and going on. So that particular day I got in from Diddy, went to work, and come back. I've done something on him, but I guess the day didn't go good with him. So he caught me out there. We had this great big old tree right in the front of the yard, and he got him a rope and tied that rope around that tree, and then he tied the other rope to my belt, and that's when he put a whooping on me that evening. But I didn't have enough sense to know if I broke away, that belt would stay tight. I should have come to it. Then I had a chance to release that belt, but that's what I didn't do. So.
But if daddy promise you something, I promise you, daddy delivered. Now, mama, on the other hand, we could kind of maneuver my mama around. We could kind of uh, tell her she would threaten, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. When daddy told you to do something, you better believe you better have done it. I tell you what, when mama made up her mind she had enough, she would wait till we get in the bathtub and get buck naked in the bathtub. And then mama would pull out that long switch from under her dress. I think she had it wrapped around her legs. I don't know. But she would tear us asunder. But you know what? When I was growing up, I thought that was really harsh. But I am so thankful. Now, we didn't get a whole lot of whippings because the one we got, they made it count. And we knew certain things that we just didn't do. They disciplined us, but they turned around and they loved us. They told us why. And Daddy would always say this, uh, baby, this gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. I never could understand how it could hurt him more than it hurted me. But I understand now that I have kids. You don't like doing that, but it's a lesson in it. And I'm thankful for all the whippings that I got and all the discipline that I got because it made me what I am today.
I never really remember mom and dad whooping me too much. I didn't never really get a lot of whooping. I don't know what I guess they didn't catch me. I know I did enough stuff for them to do, but they never did really catch me doing a lot. I didn't do too much.
If you did something and he tell you he would have us to line up and we go from the tallest to the shortest, I would always like to be at the front, at the behind, because I figured by the time Daddy get through whipping everybody else, he would be huffing and puffing and out of breath, so he would be tired when he get to the one on the end.
Rolene and Helen picked the most. Jana Boy was right there. I don't know. Jana Boy might have been. It was Rolene, Helen, and Jana Boy that could pick the most cotton. They averaged probably close to 300 pounds. You know, I probably only ever got 250. You know, while I was picking. But you know, it wasn't the fact it wasn't there. I just couldn't. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, one thing I have to say about my mama. My mama whooped me one time in the field, cotton field. And the reason she whooped me, it took a while for me to figure this out. But Janetta told me get up off my knees. See, when you're on your knees, you ain't doing nothing. So she told me get up off my knees. Well, when she got away from me, I still got back on my knees. But one morning, we was in this field down here on this road, going to Bethlehem Church. She come around. She come up to her middle, and I seen her coming. I said, if I can just pick this rest out by 4 minutes of that song, if I can just get out, then I go up there to the truck and everybody won't see me get a whooping, you know. But anyway, I didn't make it, so she whooped me right there at the end of the road. But what she whooped me for is because when you down on your knees, you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, you know, and as I got older, I look back, there's a lot of things that, you know, your parents taught you to help your own self, better yourself, you know, because I didn't like it by getting a whooping in front of everybody in the field. But you know, as you look back, it helped you. You know what to do. You know, to get up and bend your back and go to work. You know, yeah, because that's what it took to survive. And I tell them, money wasn't plentiful, not like it is today. You know, it wasn't jobs to be found. You know, I mean, you done what. Well, I have a respect for peoples now, period, regardless whether they white or they black. You know, we were just taught that way. You say yes, sir, and no, sir. Didn't make no difference who it was or whatever else. But see, and you know, I reckon I kind of lure off on younger folks now. But this is part of it. You know, I was just taught that way, to respect all people, you know. And that come from my mama and daddy raising us, period. Point blank, period. No other way around it, you know. I mean, today I can look at children and tell when they first opened their mouth whether they was raised or not, you know. I mean, and you know, but like I said, I'm glad that it was tough. I don't want to have to go back to doing the thing that I did back then. But I mean, since I came through it, then it was a learning process. I learned to appreciate whatever it was, that I was, whatever that you got. I'm thankful for it. See, because I know both sides of the road. Whether to have some money or whether not to have some money. So, you know, uh, just thankful I was raised the way I was raised. That's all.
And during the month of September, we didn't go to school. It was we picked cotton, and we were given these long sacks, cotton sacks, probably about 9 feet. And for the family, all of us together could pick a bale of cotton. Rolene, one of my other sisters, she would always get 300. I would get 300. Jana Boy would probably get 300.
Working in the field, we didn't like it. We would get on back of the trailer in the morning time and hold on to the sideboard. And sometimes Tom and Lee would drive us to the field, and they would leave us there, and we would chop cotton and do what we had to do. And Mama would always make sure that we had a lunch with us. If we went to the field with them, we would get a lunch. Now the cotton, we would, my oldest sister, Luveda, she would always pick pretty much 100 pounds of cotton. So they knew that we were hard workers, and they knew we would get their crop out. So that's why they hired us. And I think the last time I remember picking cotton, I think at that particular time we made $5 a day. And to us, $5 a day, that was a lot of money, because we could buy school clothes, and we could have stuff that we needed for school. And then we could go walk down to Tom Bass store and had a little change. We could go and buy some cookies, maybe 2 cookies for a penny, or some kisses or something like that.
What age did you start working in the fields?
Probably about 10 years old. Yeah. When you was old enough to do something other. It probably was about 10. But you get up and go to the field with them. Well, somebody would come and pick you up, I mean, and you go to the field. It wasn't a choice for that, so, that you wasn't going to go. You done what they told you to do, yeah.
Wow, do you really want to know what working in the field was like? Working in the field, you got up early in the morning, you ate a healthy breakfast, a full breakfast. You went to the field in the summer. I think it's around the May, June. Those are the months that you would chop cotton from the beginning of the day, from about 7:30 to about 5:30 in the evening. Okay, and you would do it day after day after day.
Well, it was hard work, hot. Okay, but you got used to it. After you got to work in the field, you got a good heavy meal after that. But it was hard work. Okay, but we kind of got used to that. We had to pick cotton, chop cotton, pick strawberries, haul hay, pull corn, but you got used to that. It taught you how to work.
And they would always want the Merriweather Roselle children to pick cotton or peas, because they knew that when we went to the field, we meant business. And Daddy told us to get out there and don't be out there playing, and do what we're supposed to be doing and do what we're told to do. So they know that we would help them get their crops out.
Yeah, I spent a little bit of time. I was kind of on the tail end of the field. By the time I really kind of got up and ate and started going, they were kind of weaving out a lot of time. Most in the field, they had machinery started taking over. But I did spend some time in the lane, I guess, for the two youngest ones. We spent some time in the field and picking. And then I used to help other people in the neighborhood pick. I remember some summer we used to work. I think I made about $20 or $30 that whole summer. And I remember buying clothes for school, and used to be a place up here in south of Jackson. I think it was either Kent or either Montgomery, Grapevine or something. I remember going up there and we were get our clothes and stuff and be ready for school when school get started back. So that was one of the things we did.
The younger ones, the last two didn't do what we did. They were Elaine and Albert.
And if we went to the field to pick cotton or pick peas for a man called Mr. Raymond Fuller, at lunchtime, boy, that would be the best time because they would go to the store. We would put our order in what we wanted for the store. Most of the time, my meal consisted of in the field was a moon pie, a Coke, a knee-high Coke, or orange crush soda, and 10-cent worth of bologna and a package of crackers. And that's what we would have for our lunch in the field. Unless Mama went with us, and sometimes Mama would bake some sweet potatoes or something like that, so we could have some food in the field. And most of the time, the places where we went was way off, way down the road, different places. They had fields pretty much everywhere, all up and down here, down in Mercer.
We chopped in cotton every day, and when the Sunday morning come, everybody got in the wagon and went to Glass Chapel Church over here. And I tell you another thing. Now, when the Sunday morning comes, folks don't want to go to church. I worked last night. I'm tired. But everybody, and then we walk. That's why we walk through there all the time. Everybody went to church right then.
Everybody went to church.
Everybody went to church.
Well, it was 1973, January the 6th. It was at my brother's birthday party. His girlfriend at that time, that soon became his wife, Myra, had a birthday party for my brother at our house. And she invited Tommy Lee because she went to school with Tommy Lee. And I met him May the 10th. I guess 1972, something like that.
How I met my husband. My husband is Albert Merriweather. I attended Whitehall Church of God right down the road, and Albert used to come visit occasionally. And when he would come to the church, I was bashful, I was shy. And he used to be a dapper dresser. He always wore three-piece suits. Double-breasted suits. That's all he wore. And after church, I had to go, Mama, did you see him? He had that double-breasted suit. And I was attracted to the double-breasted suit.
Because when I first married Tommy Lee, all his sisters would just say, you better take care of my brother. You better take care of my brother.
I think I was 20 and I had decided to move to Jackson, Mississippi. And he approached me just to say hi because I never carried on a conversation with him. And he made some remark about me moving, and he said, well, maybe you won't move. And I thought, are you crazy? I'm not about to give up this opportunity. So I moved to Jackson, Mississippi for about 1.5 years. And I came back, and he was still going to the church. And we just kind of started talking, And, that goes to show you, if someone is for you, you could go to the ends of the world. Isn't that something? Because there were so many other young girls there, and young ladies that he grew up around here that he could have chosen. But I went off and pursued my dreams, did what I wanted to do to make me happy, received my fulfillment. And I came back and he was still there. Isn't that something?
They were living. That's what we done until they couldn't do it no more. So they will always see us once a week. And we would always see them and be around them. You know what I'm saying? So you never wanted to be where you didn't, appreciate your parents. And then you had that thought where if I coulda, I shoulda, I woulda. But we made a point of being there and doing. And just like Tom Lee's mother, she and him, they talked every day. And he called her Mama. And she made sure this and that, and I would talk and be with my mother. And you will appreciate it in the end. That's when sometimes we would have family dinner, my kids and stuff, and husband, and whoever come, because it'll be a point where you won't have that chance and opportunity. And a lot of things down through the years have happened, but we wouldn't think, with Fat in that wreck, that officer said he didn't know how he lived because he cracked his helmet and everything, but God was there. And when Tanya with cancer and Tanisha have had so many surgeries since she was 6 months old, 9 months old, because that's how it started. because she was born with a birth defect and then didn't find it out. And I can't even tell you how many surgeries she have had, because it's so many. Memphis, Jackson, back and forth, to and fro, died with different places for different things.
I'm so thankful for my upbringing. I'm so thankful for my parents, what they taught us and what they instilled in, because they instill value in us. Value. That is the most important thing. They instill that. They instill hard work ethics in me. And I'm so thankful that of all the whippings, all the chastisement, all the disciplines that I got, because it made me what I am today, and it also kept me out of trouble.
I'm giving them the same advice, these great grands, that I gave the grands. I don't have a lazy grand. I don't have a lazy one. They always work 1 and 2 jobs. My daughter, even one of them worked 3 jobs. So that's what I'm teaching these great grands. Go to school, get you a good education.
The advice that I would give to the younger generation is that stay focused.
The advice that I would give to the younger generation, first of all, let God be your director. Let Him be your director. Honor your mother and your father. And work hard, knowing that you can achieve. And be the best that you can be.
And don't forget where you came from. Don't forget that what our grandparents and our parents and our great grandparents has passed down. Don't forget that.
I advise them to do well in school, study hard. If you get an education, nobody can take your education away from you. Okay? It took me a little while to get my education, but it was hard work, and I appreciate, work.
They need to respect their parents and older people. They need to respect themselves. Pull your freaking pants up on your butt and put a belt on for them boys. Because don't nobody need to see your business. The girls, the same thing. You need to respect people, because you don't never know who you might need or who might help you in this world. Never take it for granted people have to do something for you, because nobody have to do nothing for you. I don't know, it look like they got the idea now that you better do for me. You gotta do this. No. There's so many children now that's going hungry will appreciate what your parents do for you. I mean, it's kids like Tanya and them teaching stuff. They don't even have decent shoes. They don't even have a coat. It's dead of winter, and they come to school without a coat. Even one little boy in her school, he in the 3rd or 4th grade. He got a sister and little brother, kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. He gonna try to save his lunch so he can feed his brother and sister, because his mama a dope addict. He try to get his little brother and sister ready for school and do this and do that. Now you tell me, wouldn't you rather have a child like that, and then you got one that's mouthing off on everything? I can't wear that. I don't like that. That ain't for me. That's too cheap. Duh. When you get your money, you can buy anything you want. But as long as you're in this house, you eat, you wear what I buy. And my license, tell me to tell you, my license not going to be cut off for my children to wear some Nikes, whatever, what's the other one? Sheen Ping, or whatever, Punk, whatever.
Well, things are better for the younger people now, much better than we had, because we had to walk to school, they catch the bus, and they got computers and things, and everything is much better. And I think they should take advantage of that, because we didn't have that chance. We didn't know nothing about computers and all that stuff, typewriters or nothing like that. And some of the young people look like they don't appreciate the chances that they have.
Cause like I used to tell man all the time, if my name ain't on your ass, you ain't got a good name on there. Because I feel like we need to eat, we need to have a place to live, and that's more important than a lot of, you know, other people's name on you. Else a big old ride that, you know, you can't even afford gas for. Go to school. Learn something. Every teacher won't help you, but it's some that will help you. Every grown person is not good in your life, as well as some young people are not good in your life. So you need to listen, pick and choose. Make your life, you know, easy. But I know we don't listen all the time, but we need to. Because life is short, and it can be even shorter. Because when you dishonor your mother and father, your days are short anyway. So you need to do what's right.
And find something that you're interested in, and go for it.
Whatever need to be done, load up the trailer, whatever.
How many sick days has your husband called in?
Let me count over how many years. Let me see. Once when he had strep throat, he couldn't go to work because he had to get a shot every day at the doctor for 3 days straight, plus the medicine. And that was in November. He got sleeted on and rained on, so that's how he got the strep throat. So that was 3 days. That was real, real long ago. Then the time when he thought he had a heart attack, but it wasn't. So that was 1 day. That's 4. Then one time when he was in Nashville working, and he kept on working, and they finally took him to the hospital, and the guys had to lift him in the truck because he couldn't walk. So he was about 2 days off then because he wouldn't listen to their doctor. But they brought him home, and you knew he was sick then because he let somebody drive his truck. He don't ride with nobody. He always drive. And what they give him about 5 or 6 days. Then he was off 1 day when his mother died because he had a relapse on his leg. But last year, I came home, he was in the bed at 12 o'clock. It scared me real bad then. So, oh God, you finna die, what's wrong? He was covered up, but he had the flu. Took him over there, they gave him medicine and shot. So that was 1 day. Like today, you seen him with he can't walk, and so he up there unloading the trailer, so that ain't gonna deter him. So now he don't get sick. He don't take no days off. Y'all know that. He don't understand what that's like. Cause he always at work. Cause when he come home, he find something to do. That's just part of him. Cause his mama said sometimes he used to shoot ball a little bit when we come home from work, and then about an hour he back to doing work. That's his thing, working.
That's his thing.
You never see him sit down. So I guess when he get it, he'll be in the grave, you be looking at him. He'll rest then, I guess. But now, that's one thing I can say my husband is a working man, a good man, and you know how he an honest man too.
I'm a pretty early morning person. A lot of time, most time I'm born country, so I always leave by, you know, if it's summertime, I leave by 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's sleeping, snowing. I leave at 2. I might start at 3 o'clock. Yeah, so it ain't been a bad thing. I've enjoyed it, you know. I mean, you know, when I know after a while you get a chance to enjoy some of the things you done worked on. So, yeah, so it's really been good. I don't really have no complaint about nothing too much, man. I ain't got no sad story to tell about nothing. Yeah, I've hit some rough road though, but I've enjoyed them all of it. You know, I don't know what I would have did nothing different or not. You know, let's did it faster. Yeah, so yeah. I tell people everywhere I go, one thing my daddy told me, if you don't work, chances are you're gonna steal. that was one thing that he taught me at an early age. So, and I guess one thing Mama taught me is so many things. But let me think what she probably say. I think what Mama probably taught us, I guess good to follow good. Do good, good to follow good. I guess that would be one good thing would be.
My parents taught me to have good value. They taught me to have good work ethics. And they always taught me to work for what I got. Anything worth having is worth working and to make an honest day living.
Because you want good to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give good, good will follow you. If you give bad, bad gonna follow too. So my thing is you always read what you sow.
It taught me respect our elders.
My mother, she was a seamstress. My mother was a beautician. My mother could do upholstery. She could do renovations on a house. It was just that character in her to just keep going forward, keep going. So it's inherent. So that's what I'm saying. I think now I'm going to start my baking business.
She taught me how to treat people, respect people. Yeah. Taught us, not to steal, not to do this, not to do that, everything. Because, she just taught you how to clean. Because I can remember the time, well, y'all won't remember this, back in the day when you had to wax the floors, you had to wax on your knees and stuff. They had arrow wax back then. When no such thing as all this, up to date. When we had to iron, everything was cotton. You had to sprinkle it down, and you had to iron it straight. You had to iron the sheets, because everything was cotton, to smooth them out. And you couldn't have no cat faces, but you probably don't remember. Cat faces would be wrinkles. Because if you had any wrinkles or anything, you had to start back over. It had to be perfect. She taught us a lot. And so, back in the day, we had to do that until we washed. We were taught everything. Seriously, we were taught everything because you never know what you might have to do if something happened.
Taught me how to work and how to take care of my clothes. Yeah. Taught me not to spend every penny you get your hand on.
The main thing is respect and work ethic.
My family meant a great deal to me. They taught me a whole lot of lessons. Taught me how to get through life, the hard parts of life, how to get through that. They taught us that, the things that we need to do and how to get through the world. And I guess I grew up during the segregation, and they taught us how to get through that.
My daddy was a firm believer of doing right. You do what's right. You respect old people. That was the main thing. So that's what we grew up, respecting older people.
Get up in the morning and do something. Every morning, when you get up, you need to have a plan about accomplishing something for yourself. I mean, this is aside from going to work and doing your job. You got hopes, dreams, aspirations. If you don't do something for yourself in the course of your day, you don't miss the chance.
The lesson that I learned from my mother, when I was growing up, we didn't have a whole lot. I grew up in the city. I think we had 1, 2, 3, at one time, 3 rooms. Took a bath in the kitchen, dumped the water after that. But in all of that, my mother, she used to clean houses, $25 a week. But through all of that, she still loved us, and she still was there to make our little house, our little shanty house, a home. And I can remember coming home from school, and she'd have, I could smell the sweet baked potatoes, and the rice and gravy. And even when I started raising my kids, that was what I wanted my kids to have. I wanted my kids to come home to a house of warmth, meals already prepared. And I even, when Albert and I married, I worked at the law firm, but because of what I wanted my children to have, feel that sense of security, I gave up my job. I've worked for the federal government. In bankruptcy court, I gave up that job. I worked for the city because I was always drawn to being that nurturer for my children. So that's something that I really learned. And I think that by my being here with my children, that's one of the reasons why they're so successful. And when I say success, they're stable. I don't have to give them money, to pay their rent. I don't have to bail them out. They're able to stand on their own. And I think it's because I gave up so much so that they could have a sense of security.
Well, I was probably, I guess I was about 7 or 8, I guess. And for the summer, my daddy ran a construction business, and I remember that summer I said, I'm going to start going to work with him in the summer. And so I went for a few days, and it was okay, but it kind of cut my ride in the bicycle time I riding. So after I kind of got to go on a few days, I didn't really want to go then. So he didn't let me quit then. I had to almost go, so I kind of got started with that, helping, working for him in the summer. And then I would help him, after school. And I remember some time when I was playing basketball, I would probably have to come home and do something else, or hit dead in the evening time, so I couldn't really steal from basketball playing and stuff like that. But, so that just kind of grew from there, working for him, and then I started working for my brother. And then in 1980, 87, then I think I went in business for myself. I got had projects going from a while back. I had projects going in California, projects in Kentucky. We were doing some work in Ohio, Iowa, Texas, and Alabama. That was too much. And wow, we were doing some work up in near Washington. There's some guys up there working on projects. So we had a lot of stuff really kind of going on here. What people want you to do, and do a people a good job, because I always say a good job will follow you before you get there. I remember one year we did something. It wasn't really our fault, but I went to look for a job, and that probably been 15 years ago. Went to look for another before you got there. That job at one that didn't go too good had already got there. So I knew then jobs would follow you in front of you. So I learned that to do a good job with people, and be honest with them. And if you bid on something, you take it for what you bid on. Or if you don't take what you bid on, don't start it. But don't get in the middle of it and say, well, I quit this and do that. I ain't never really been a person to quit whether I lost or gonna win. Because I always figured if I took a job from a person, even if I'm gonna lose, well, I figure I'm gonna lose half the way. But if you keep dealing with them, you'll break back even somewhere or another. You get a chance to get an increase somewhere or another. But if you quit, you done bail out, you'll never get a chance to do no business with them no more. So I never really quit a job too much. I don't care how tough it been, how long it been. I saw something I liked that I walked off, but they ain't never really quit on, I don't think. Well, yes, I did. I actually really did quit one. It was one of my main, biggest job I ever had at the time. My first job I had a AutoZone headquarters. I did the headquarters down in Memphis, Tennessee. And I did that one. I think that was about the only job I really just quit, but I let them know that it was a lot more bigger job than I probably could handle at the time. And that was about the largest money job I ever had. And but it was just too many things to do. You had too many men you had to have, and I didn't really want to go through that. I started with it, but like I said, if you had 10, 15 men, you needed 10 more. So I didn't really want to get that big at that time for all them kind of guys that you had to have, especially for payroll and all that. So I just kind of backed away from that. Well, I always think about one thing. I said, all things for me that work together for good. Whatever thing that went through in your life, it's always for a reason, I probably would have, I don't know whether I would have branched out a little further or not, because I always have branched out. I mean, one of the things I've done, I always made my mind up at the early years when I started contracting that I couldn't stay in no one spot and be successful. You're not gonna stay here local 35, 40 miles and be doing a lot of jobs. You may stay busy, but wasn't gonna make no money. So I already knew that I had to hit the road and stuff. I guess one of the things that I probably would have done different is, I bought a machinery, do country work way back in the 90s, late part of the 90s. And it was, I guess that's what kind of made me where I am today. It was machinery that came out, and they had made like no more than 300 of some of them all over the world. I think my machine was 350 something. So they was kind of rare, and that was all over, not only the United States, but that was China and every place else that they were having them. And I was fortunate enough to be able to get one of them. So that's what kind of pushed me over the edge of getting problems that I really didn't have to never look for because of the piece of equipment that I had that other people didn't have. So I had an edge on stuff. I think at that time, really, what I wish I really had done more. I wish I had hired some people that was qualified, and me just kind of stood back instead of me performing the work. You know, that's what I wish. You know, I should have put people in place, and I should have just kind of, you know, but you know, that's kind of a hindsight. You look at that. Well, first thing is someone's gonna have to get a job. Everybody ain't gonna be able to go to that computer. That's just the first thing about it. Because what's gonna happen? I tell people all the time, right? What's gonna happen now? People is going to, you know, computer stuff is good, and there's a lot of people doing it and that kind of thing. But everybody gonna be successful. The people who gonna really make some money from now on out is to be the people that gonna do some hands on some stuff. Cause they're gonna have a big demand. You take like building houses now. You don't find no young boy around here want to take up carpenter work. You don't hardly find many young boys want to do no plumbing. Nobody want to do no electricity. That's somebody gonna have to do though. Even if they keep on building, somebody got to do it. And that's why it's gonna be a big demand. And people later on, these young folks gonna be able to make some money. Simply because they're gonna be able to dictate their price. And if they want it, they're gonna have to accept it. That's why they're gonna make money. So I'm telling you, most young guys now, if you try to learn something, a trade or something, whether you want to do that or not, I don't say trade, but learn you something because it's going to be needful after a while. Because now you look at now, even when you call a plumber to your house or something, he got a time sheet from the time he leaves his office to the time he get there and then the time starts. And then most of them don't bring no tools with them, then they got to go back to the office and get it instead of paying. I mean, instead of running you up. So if you don't learn how to do something for yourself, or learn how to do something, if you don't have a lot of money, you ain't gonna find yourself being broke.
I was like, I knew that I was going to be living in this house because I was like praying one day, and I just had this vision of me living in this house, and we were not even talking. Isn't that amazing?
I say this a lot of time. I think about it right here in my own community. I feel like if I fell short with something, I don't know if it'd be many people right here in this community that wouldn't reach and grab me if I would fail. That's what I kind of feel like. So I feel like that's where you have to be done something right or something to feel like that. Now, he might not wouldn't get you, but I feel like if I fail for some reason, I think I would have a lot of hands here. When this 7-mile radius that people would reach back and that would reach back and grab. And that's saying something. 'Cause a lot of times, you can live in a place and people you don't know what. You don't know 4 or 5 people down the road. But I don't know everybody around here. But I think everybody around here know me.
I won a citywide typing contest. I typed like 120 words a minute. I did. I was on TV. And so I won this Xerox memory writer, which is still in the house. And then we got married like maybe about a year later. And so it's like I knew God had prepared me to help him with his business. I mean, isn't it amazing? I had all of this humongous typewriter, and and now, today I'm working for him. Sometimes I've been fired, sometimes I quit, but it always goes back to when you're destined for somebody, you're going to have adversity, but you just got to be willing to go through it. And we celebrated 30 years.
30 years.
30 years. 30 years.
If I had to do it all over again, absolutely nothing. Because the experience that I've had almost 60 years, I wouldn't take nothing for it. Now, during the process, if you had asked me that looking when I was much younger, I would probably have a different answer. But looking back now, I don't have, it's nothing I would change.
As being a good fellow, a good person, that I would help somebody, regardless of whoever it was. Don't have to be nobody that I know, just he went out his way to help somebody.
I want to be remembered for being a light in the community. Because everybody, even Calvin, see, I told you that was Mildred. Just everybody calls Lean. That's my nickname. And anything that I can do for anybody, no matter who it is or where it is, people from all around, they call me. I can pray for them. I pray with them or whatever they want to do. They need help, I help them. They need to go somewhere, I carry them. So I am the light of the community right now.
For the work that I've done to in the church and in the community to try to lift up Jesus. And you know, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to let your light shine and do unto others as you wish to be done. So, you know, none of us are perfect. We all have made mistakes, one way or the other.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, God is a forgiving God.
Don't store it on me or nothing like that. Because whatever I do, I try to do it in secret so you won't know nobody business, you know. So, just that I try to just be a good person, really. That's all.
That's good.
So if you come, don't expect no from. Just, you know, expect to have a thing at the house, eat a little food, and that's it. So you don't have to bring no suit or nothing like that, because you won't be needing no pallbearers, no nothing. And don't be getting drunk. That's the main thing. And if you want to give any money, give it to Rifle, St. Jude, or something like that. Don't buy no flowers, because, you know, kids with cancer need help, and Rifle is where they feed people here. Regional Interfaith. They feed people 365 days a year.
I want to be remembered for a person that you can come and talk to about anything. I want people to say that I was a person that would love everybody, and that's what I strive to do. I want to be remembered not by the things or the stuff that I possess. I just want to be remembered as being a good person, a good, productive citizen.
I want to be remembered for, I'm going to have to include this. I thank God for giving us 3 beautiful children, a beautiful daughter-in-law, and 3 wonderful grandkids. And I've tried to be the mother and the mother-in-law and the grandmother that God would want me to be.
Well, you know, I want to remember that, you know, I gave, you know, I was able to open up a door for a lot of people, you know, and open up a lot of doors that, you know, that they can take what I've done and know that they can make it. And I'm not only doing work here in the United States. I'm you know, we've been working over in, we've been going to Haiti back and forth doing missionary work. So, I mean, you know, I think I've left some kind of legacy over there for doing work. I mean, we working over there, have been working, and I guess the one amazing thing over there we put out a well. We went up in a village where people were just really beginning to start wearing some kind of clothing, and then you saw a lot of people didn't have clothes, no sticker clothes on. So when we went there, we started putting out a well for them, and people, they would drink water. They didn't have no fresh water in their lifetime. So I mean, I feel like even just a hand on that was a legacy for me. For them, some of them people may not ever meet no more for them to go back over there. But I think I left a mark there. And then going back to the United States, I think we've done real well here. So I think people will look at what you have done, you know, that'll speak for you. For what
Miss Janetta, she was so sweet. I remember going down there for the very first time, and she had all this food on the stove. You know, she had cooked this big meal and just invited me in. You know, and I ate. And just really good being in her presence was really sweet. His dad was really nice also.
And you never know when the time, you should value your time with your family. Now, that's my thought.
Know your shortcomings and understand you and love you in spite of. That's family.
We are a close family. When one hurts, the other one hurts. If something going on with one, somebody tell it, then it's going around to the family. Everybody, pitch in to see what they need to do to help.
You know what you are. You're a Merriweather. So you know you got to straighten up and do right. So we would always, now we would get out of hand sometimes, but we knew certain things we just didn't do. So, but it was good. Life was good growing up because we had that family core, we had that unity, we had that togetherness, and that made a difference.
We should look out for our family and reach out with a helping hand. And if the one help you, if he get in trouble, you're supposed to come back and help him.